I want to talk about is obviously my best mate who's lying in remand right now, and that's all that's really in my head, to be honest with you. This here is irrelevant in my life, but not the demo, but what happened here. So I've been on the phone, I was a wee bit late because I've been on the phone to Frankie's twin brother, and it's just difficult. It's difficult for the family. There's only so much I can say, but you've got to understand that this is big. This is something that no man or family should go through. And I have to be careful what I say because it's an ongoing case. But yes, Pinky has been granted bail on Thursday, and there were some conditions, and the conditions have been met. And he is now going to be lying in over the weekend until Monday. Now, obviously, being a right-wing commentator and being around these sort of incidents and reporting on them and researching them going back 15 years, i.e. Tommy Robinson and the rest that's went through persecution because of their ideologies, their beliefs, their care for their own area. I don't know. He's a father. For being a father, let's just say that, because I don't even know how to describe it of what's happened to him, because it's speech, and it's not illegal speech, and this is. It's hard, it's difficult to go into because I've got to be careful what I can say, but it will all come out in a court of law, and that's the bottom line of it, you know what I mean? It will be brought out in court, and everything will be analysed, and you will see for yourselves exactly what's happened. Now, it's a situation, guys, where a man who's never been in prison has been remanded for something, He's lying in solitary confinement because they can't get his ring off him. Now, it's difficult enough being in prison, missing your children and your loved ones, but on top of that, a lot of people forget is the family here on the outside, and even the men inside forget about the family on the outside, you know what I mean? And I can tell you now that there's more than Neil suffering, the whole family suffering, and it's heartbreaking, really difficult to talk about, it is. But I'm a wee bit angry as well, so actually I did worry about talking about this because speaking, to the family and hearing everything and how they're feeling, what they're going through, and you're always remembering, because we know the truth. As me standing here, in front of you is always truthful, always genuine, always upfront, with limited acts, with what limited I can say without doing any damage to any cases. Standing here right now, I know that it's wrong what's happened to Pinky, and at the end of the day, he's on remand, you know what I mean, and they can put you on remand, but standing here knowing the truth and knowing exactly what happened, it's difficult to see the turmoil put onto the family, and this is a problem, this is something that's going to keep happening to people like me, people on the right of politics, anybody standing up against mass immigration or against anything that's against the government, whether it be 5G, whether it be certain things I can't say, but what we went through in 2019, and any other things that they need to try the government, because the government is behaving in a way right now that isn't beneficial to the actual subjects, the people on the street, us guys, the citizens, you know what I mean? And I keep promising to do this. I'm definitely going to do this tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow, because tomorrow's chaos again. The day's been chaos. So hopefully Sunday I'm going to bring a video of these to show you exactly what I'm saying, and just a wee bit more evidence on everything I'm saying, so you know it's definitely not misinformation. There's evidence of what I'm saying about replacement. I am genuinely worried about my country. Is everything alright? The sound alright?
There's a bit of lag, something said. Bit of lag.
Bit of lag, is there? Let me move it away from yours just in case you two of them together. Peace in. Yep, so just check that. Definitely evidence. What's that like, guys? Bring yours away a wee bit just in case it's the two data's not a bit there. So yeah, there's a lot of cameras on me here, guys. So yeah, you're outside the main hotel. Like I say, this has nothing to do. I'm just talking about my mate. You know what I mean? I'm not talking. This is like Neil has nothing to do with all this. He pops up here, there, and everywhere. He's a father like me, concerned like me. You know what I mean? Like all these people here, all right wing. We're all right wing. We're traditionalists. We love our culture. We want our culture to stay. We don't want nothing to change. You know what I mean? And anybody with that mindset, as far as the government is concerned, is far right, and that's not right. That's not right. On no level is that right. You know what I mean? And like it's not just and this is like I come down the day as well. It's not just the what do you call it, the government. You know what I mean? There's also people inside our groups causing problems. I've came down to here and a person said to me, "You're not welcome here." I'm like, the fuck man, where's this come from? You know what I mean? As you can imagine, fuck everybody. You know what I mean? You're not welcome here. Go away. Nobody here wants you. I look around and nobody said a word. So you think. Maybe nobody here does want me, and then you're thinking to myself, then I'm digging my heels in this, and like, I love my country, I'm doing everything I can for these guys, whether they know it or not. But that wasn't the case. This is a personal attack. Whether it's, I don't know what it is. I haven't got to speak to you. Honest to God, I just don't want to make people friends with. I don't know why anybody's done against me that. I just don't know. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I have got to think outside the box. I've got to think, why did somebody do this? Everything I'm doing in this country, all the videos, all the pressure, I'm getting the papers attacks, being called far right, being called racist, being called a fascist, and then working really hard non-stop, and then coming down here to be told by a so-called patriot that I'm not welcome. Apparently it's over a video that the left have doctored, like as we spoke about, we dealt with all that, where they took out the word and, you know what I mean? And there's nothing I can do about that. All I can do is do videos about it and hope people like that watch it. But to do that to me in front of people, it's a bit disheartening. And bless our man with a proper grumble, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I'm with my daughter. Anybody standing in front of me telling me anything that I can't do, I'm thinking about my daughter. All I see is maybe lucky. So see the person in front of me, they become that size. They really do. They become insignificant, irrelevant, and that's it. To me, that's the way I look at it. And it's sad. But, who knows? Who knows? Is it the government? Is there somebody behind the scenes doing something? I don't know. It's strange. It's a strange behaviour. And, like an hour ago, I'm coming back from someone's house, we were moving the couch, and a random person came up to me and was feeling that. A woman gave me a cuddle, and she was talking to me about how she was feeling, and she got a selfie taken with me in the room, and got her on her Facebook and sent her through Messenger and that, and it was lovely. It's really, and that's what normally happens. That's not what normally happens, you know what I mean? And it is. This is like the problems that it's always going to come. There's always going to be other people that's going to come up and try and stop me because they've been asked to by somebody who maybe either paid them or whatever, I don't know. But Freedom Dad is under some extreme pressure right now, and always worrying where the next attack is going to come from. Always worrying about the next newspaper clipping. And people say, Avi Yanami says, don't worry about it, ignore it. But it's not as easy to ignore. It really isn't, you know what I mean? It's difficult. I'm always tired. I'm always thinking of content. I'm always thinking, what's the best I can do for my country? What's the best thing I can do for my lucky? Am I doing too much? You know what I mean? I'm not getting any younger. I'm 55 years old, you know what I mean? But I have the energy to do it, and I have the capability to do it. I don't know how or why or anything about it, but I've always been like this. And like I say, there's a part that helps with mental health, with everything I've went through in the past, with between my mum and in the prisons and all that, solitary confinement and all the rest of it. So it is a coping mechanism. I'll throw my hands up to that as well, you know what I mean? I'm always going to be honest and upfront. But, the bottom line is, I've always been a strong person, I've always been a miserable person, I've always stood up, and that's why I've been in solitary confinement for so much. Every prison some prisons have spent 3 months in solitary confinement. And, the records are all there. I can't sit and start here with children and nonsense. The records are there. They know my record. From 16-something solitary confinement with a 16-year-old boy with nothing but a Bible and boards. That's what they called it. They called it the boards. So obviously that's damaging to the head some way, you don't realise it at the time or whatever, and I'll never be able to explain it or tell you an example of how it's damaging, but I imagine long term it does do stuff to people, and then that stuff's built up, but what I'm trying to say is, I'll never, somebody tells me no, stop doing what I'm doing, and I know I'm in the right, then I'm going to go even harder. And when you're in prison, that doesn't feel very well, But that's just an example of who I am compared to who that person is. Can you tell me that I'm not walking in Bangor, my Northern Ireland, my Ulster? What's next? Maybe, look, you're not going to be allowed here. Is that what she's going to say, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it is what it is, guys. But like I say, so it's been a wee bit traumatic, I'll be honest. It's been a wee bit traumatic. Caitlin, you check comments. It's been, to be honest, it is, man, and I mean, like, spending time on the phone of somebody you care about somebody you care about even more. It's really hard, you know. I think it was 20 minutes in that, and listening to everything. I'm not going to go into it because it's personal, but please believe me, this is not easy for anybody. It isn't easy for the family, and you know, Neil is lying there for another weekend, and it's just not fair. And you know, nothing's fair for us. This is the problem. We're right wing, and we're always going to be persecuted. We're always going to not get bail. We're always going to have the police standing in court and saying things without any evidence. And you're always going to get a judge who's going to read a statement out about how racist you are and how there's no room in society for you. And then it's always going to get put straight into the papers. You know, you've got to understand what I've just said to you there. It doesn't happen for anybody else. It doesn't happen to the migrant from the hotel that has done something to a child. It's all kept quiet. It's kept all hushed up. But as soon as somebody says hurty words on the right, it's all over the papers. People are doing TikToks about it. A judge is giving a man bail on Thursday, and the man's still in. And now he's in the weekend. So there is a comparison between the right and the left, or the right and diversity, and the right and immigration. You know, somebody from a foreign country can come in here and they can say whatever they want. They can say whatever they want. They can criticise me. They can call me a Nazi. They can call me a fascist. They can call me a racist. And nothing, nobody bats an eyelid. But as soon as somebody says something to them, and they run to anybody in authority, like Stenneline, or like the police, or like McDonald's manager, then straight away whoever they run to act on it. They act on it, and they don't just act on it as in a, you know, they act on full steam. Police are called. Sit there until the police come. You know, boom. And then, you know, who's it complaining? Oh, right, bring the complaint. What happened? Oh, he done this, he done that, he said this, he said that. Right, that's good enough for us. Boom, remand. Barred off the boat. You understand? See the difference, the comparison of the right and the people that aren't on the right? You know, like everybody keeps on saying, if you have a man that's a refugee and a man who is from the country, any country, you know, and they do something that's the same, you will see a difference of 2 tiers in each of the actions, and that's been proven over and over again. And that's where we're at in England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And in Ireland we're seeing as well. People are scared to even look at some people for want of offending, because once they complain that they've been offended, our police force act. You know, I just watched the video earlier on where the police came out to an American woman, right, in England, living in England. She's got cancer, bald head because she's got cancer, and the police come into her living room and goes, he said stuff on Facebook. She says, yeah, what about it? He goes, oh, we want you to take it down. No, we want you, well, it would have been that, but the main thing was she wanted them to apologise, right? That's what she wanted them to do, that the police wanted her to apologise to whoever got offended. And if she didn't apologise, then she was going to be arrested or be asked to go down and be questioned. Now, in what world does that make any sense to you? You know what I mean? That's not even legal. You can't blackmail people. Like, if the police came into my house and go, you know, man, you've done something illegal. I'll tell you what you do. You robbed the bank. You robbed that bank down in Bangor there. I'll tell you what we want you to do. We want you to apologise to the manager. But if you don't apologise to the manager, we're going to get you in for questioning. Well, in what world does that make any sense to you? Now, I know it's an extreme, but it works across the board in any crime. It doesn't matter how small the crime is, it doesn't matter how bad the crime is. If you've committed a crime, you know, you get out, you get questioned, the PF makes a decision whether they're going to charge you, and that's the way it works. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. And, you know, we're seeing cases now where the whole legal system is changing, but it's only changing for one side of society. And unfortunately, guys, it's you that are watching this. It's you that are watching this. It's these guys that are standing here. It's the parents that are fighting right now to make sure nothing happens in this country that's happening in England and Dublin. You know what I mean? And that's the sad thing. You know, we are now the second-class citizens of everywhere, of Great Britain. There is a clear 2-tier where the word of somebody that's coming to this country is going to be taken over the word of the foreign men. And not only that, but you know, in extreme cases, some men will go to jail. You know, so if I'm walking down the street, as feeling bad, okay, and I bump into 2 Eritreans, and we have a conversation about life, and I say something they don't agree with. It's just something they don't agree with. Whether it's I don't like curry and they do, okay. Now, if them 2 Eritreans walk up to a police officer and said something like, he said this and that, I can guarantee you I would be remanded because they would get the police officer to stand in the dock on oath and say, we have evidence that he said this and that, and the judge is going to go, oh my God, there's no room in society for this. You know, this is what would happen to me. And I would be lying on remand, and there would be nothing I can do about it. But please believe me, think about this. Two normal Bangor boys having a conversation with them when we have a disagreement. Do you think if they walk up to the policeman and say, blah, 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 he said this and he said that, they're going to come running and arrest me? They're going to say, no, we need more evidence than that. And this is where we're at. We're seeing that, and we're seeing it in England. I'm talking about England. I'm not talking about Northern Ireland. I'm talking about what I see is happening in England. I see what's happening in Scotland, what's happening in Dublin. You know, we see that I'm involved in the Free Speech Union. I'm on many group chats, and I do a lot of research on free speech and how many people have been convicted in Great Britain for free speech. And it's frightening. You know, I can't remember the figures because I've got that much running about in my head. But the truth is, it's phenomenal. The amount of people getting arrested for free speech in our country compared to China is off the scale. Off the scale. I mean, China and Russia, so one of the most, we've been told, one of the most communist countries in the world, and all the rest of it, fascist, and you've got no freedom of speech. If you're sinning against the government, boom, you're in a gulag somewhere. You know what I mean? But there's evidence now that Great Britain is in a even worse state. There's more men now being convicted, more men and women now being convicted, whether they're going to prison or not, they're getting found guilty in prison for free speech in Great Britain than I think mostly anywhere. And do your research. Have a look at the numbers. How many people have been done for free speech in Russia? How many? Just do the countries. Do the countries. You'll get your own figures. You can do this research yourselves, you know? And yeah, it's all for the taking. So, oh, how you doing, son?
Not too far from there.
Good seeing you. I'm live. You want to say a couple of words?
Just get them out.
Yeah. Well, just want to say a couple of words today.
You know what? Open up long cash. It's black. Put them there. And tag them. Well, put them, reopen. That's where to put them. It's black. Long cash. And put tags on them. Okay? That's the only way. You're lucky. You're good. Follow you.
Nice, he's gone.
Oh, man, dat is echt niet goed.
By the Chinese, absolutely not. Foxy bad. Really is good. Yes, yes, yes. No,
Kids, you may tie them up for him as well.
Lovely lady.
Hold on.
No, he's talking to someone
Make sure,
on the phone.
make sure you get the Union Jack in. Like that, you see me now? Is it your live stream? It's, no, these two beautiful looking ladies. This is, he's single too.
Killing this. What did you get? Dating website.
For purposes of DLA and security reasons, excellent in the fetus.
This is the dating website.
Here. Orange, two beautiful,
Here, get the sign up. Put the sign out if you don't
two
want to
good
face
looking
up.
girls here. I wish I was top 60.
You're not 60.
Here, top 60. Get the Union Jack in there. Right, you want you. Alright. What? I know it's not. Yes, it's getting good over 2 years, but we're getting there. I can see they're both below us. There you are. Having a few beers. I wish I was 40 years younger. Anyway. Very good. Cheers.
All right, yeah, how you doing? All good?
Yep. Keeping well? Who what? You still living in the who what? Motor content of seal here. Is that right? Pretty much. So you're 8 or what? There. Apollo. Right?
Yes. Very good.
Alter play
Yes,
with the
right.
start.
Yes, no. Yes, that you come at?
Yes.
No, I'll give you a shoot.
You want me to give you a flag?
Do you have flags?
Uh-huh. I got loads of flags. You want me to give you the one right now?
Honestly, don't worry.
But you know what we are?
Yes, I do
Like,
need.
the one with
Yeah.
the alter flag.
Yes. Don't worry, I'll get
I don't care. What are you doing standing here, you know? Right away back there. Okay, then. Clear the overflow so people can actually see first, right? Good idea. Yeah. Well, do something beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. So I am good now. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. See if it's no, it's okay. It's a good feeling. I understand that, it's an amazing feeling. From people. Did you catch that? Did you catch that when interaction when I first arrived? I'm going to start going live when I come in. So I can't stop. But apart from the first carry on, I mean, it's like, at the end of the day, I know me, I know who I am, anybody else knows who I am, quite a lot of my followers, and my enemies analyse my videos, you know what I mean? And, I'm just sorry, it's dedicated loyal men.
Thank you.
Who are here for the right reasons, and that's why my platform is so good. It's not about being free and not making any money. It's the fact that we're all on the same page. And there's only two groups of people in this world right now. Like I keep on saying, it's the people And I can explain this as well, by the way, for people who don't understand why there's not so many people, patriots are coming out and supporting people like us and getting behind such a cause. It's so damning for our country. You know, there is two categories, and there is a category in our country who believe that because of what we've done in the past, like Iraq and all the rest of it, and Syria, not Syria, Afghanistan and Iraq, and I'm sure we've done damage elsewhere, but you know, we've been involved in a lot of stuff with the Americans, and I think some people in this country, in Great Britain, believe that we deserve what we're getting. So that is true. You know, there is a section of our community who just sit back, and whether they don't have children or whether they just don't care about the future because they're not going to be here, I don't know the psychology behind it, but there definitely is a big section of our community who are sitting back, knowing what's going on, knowing the damage that's coming, but yet thinking, well, get it up, and you know, it'll take psychologists to look that out, you know, but there is a division, and you know, it's a small fraction, but they are there. The other part of our guys, the real patriots, who know what's going on. You know, the reason why they're not coming out is because of the newspapers. And this is what this is what you don't realise, guys. When you see the headlines of Freedom Dad and it's fascist, you know, runs riot on boat, being racist to staff and passengers, you know that puts people off coming to places like this. When you see Freedom Dad, far right, racist, you know, that puts people off. And it's not about me, really, like, it's not about the demos. It's the psychology behind of saying racist, fascist, and far right. You know, it's a trigger. It's something that they do, and they keep pushing it. And people read that, see that, hear that, and, you know, whether they believe it in deep, subconsciously they believe it, because it's just something in society that it's a trigger that advertisements use. You know, it's something that when you're going in the shop and you see advertisements and it triggers you to buy something, it's the same sort of idea what the media are doing to the people of our country and the outstanding United Kingdom. And, you know, it's understanding the psychology behind it all and how it works and why the papers keep calling a man like me far-right and racist when that man is online so open and honest about everything in his life. And not only that, but he has the full support of all his friends that's known him all his life, and the support of the community that live in these communities, that know these friends all his life. And you know, I would look a bit ridiculous standing here. The only people I would have around me would be far right if I was far right and pretending to be not far right, and everybody knew I was far right and I was coming on here and telling you I'm not far right. You know, that would be fucking mental, guys, you know what I mean? You know, people would just look at me and go, well, you are far right, you're saying you're not, so you must be lying about everything else. So that's the way it works. It's as simple as that. When you're online opening your heart to people and you do over 700 videos and you talk about abuse, you talk about suicide, you talk about losing people, you talk about trauma, you talk about complex PTSD, and you put everything out there for everybody to see because you know it's going to matter in the future if anybody's suffering what I've run through. Locked myself away for years, you know what I mean, not wanting to speak to nobody, pushing everybody that loved me and cared about me away, you know, so people know, yes, what you're doing, it's normal, there's nothing wrong with you, but you can come out of it, and that's all part of it. That little bit of information that I can give to people can save people, you know, and that's the bottom line of it. So, with that is, I get the far right and all that, but this is what I'm trying to say to you in a nutshell, guys. It's not going to stay like that forever. Something has to give, and we've seen the first clink in the armour yesterday. When Nolan came out to East Belfast to try and do what Freedom Dad does, that is the first sign that something is changing. When you hear Nolan today sticking up for East Belfast residents, let's be honest, for the first time, not calling people racist and all the rest of it, you know, give a wee bit of respect where respect is due. But you know, this is what I've told you a long time ago. The media will change to suit us because they need us to watch them and listen to them and buy their papers. Do not be fooled by this. I told you this would come. I told you that they will change, because think about it. If you're a newspaper and you're pushing out the far left rhetoric and everybody's racist, far right, blah blah, and there's nothing wrong with mass immigration and there's no such thing as grooming gangs, whatever, blah blah blah, you know what I mean? And you're saying otherwise, eventually, slowly, the nation turns against them. And they're at that stage now where they're over 50%. and they're starting to feel it. Okay, it's coming down from the top. The money's getting tight. We're not getting many views. You know, they're watching these citizen journalists instead of you. You know, we need to change. So what do you change? Think about it, guys. If you sell your soul and read out whatever anybody wants you to read out that controls you, what are you going to do? You're going to change everything. So, so they're not viewing me. So why? Oh, because you're calling them racist and far right. Because you're saying mass immigration is okay, and there's no evidence of any harm. And they're all overreacting, and Freedom Dad's just a wronging, a bank robber, blah blah blah. You know, that's going to change. They're going to start going, you know, right? Yeah, mass immigration is the problem. Oh yeah, they did cover up the grooming gangs. Yeah, social work did go to a 15-year-old's wedding. Yeah, the police did let a child drive away with 3 Muslim men in the car. You know, but they're not just there yet. But they will get there, guys. They will get there. Please believe me, because I'm there. Right? I'm already 5 steps ahead of him. And that's the problem, because a bank robber, an orphan bank robber from South Belfast is telling everybody what's going on, telling the people in Northern Ireland what's going on, and they're trying every trick in the book to bring me down, as you've seen. Not as you've seen, but as I've told you tonight. You know, this won't be the last. It'll never be the last. But you know what? I'm going to say this once more. Anybody comes up against Freedom Dad, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. I'll never ever stop what I'm doing. Because you know what? When you're looking at me, slobbering at me in my face, I see my wee lucky. And you disappear down to there. To see what that is down there, that's irrelevant land. That's what land you're in. You're in irrelevant land. My wee lucky's up here. My wee lucky's got the spotlight. My lucky's got every man and woman in this country fighting for my wee lucky. And you're either for my wee lucky or you're against my wee lucky. And I'm telling you now, you guys, all you're going to do is bury yourselves, sink yourselves. Anybody comes up against Freedom Dad, people will know who you are and what you are and what you're all about. There's no two ways about it, because Freedom Dad is an open book. There's no secrets, there's no hidden agendas. Everybody knows me. I've run about the streets of Belfast since I was a wee boy, you know. I've had more trauma than you can imagine. There's things that's happened to me that I haven't even told you about. You know what I mean? So don't come at me with weakness, or you need to come at me with tanks, you need to come at me with RPGs, rocket launchers, fucking the big base bombs from whatever. You need to come at me. You know, I am bulletproof. I'm telling you, I've always said that I am bulletproof. And you know why? Because there's somebody looking after me. There's somebody up there looking down, looking after me. And I've walked on this planet, and I've been in some situations in my life. And please believe me, this is a walk in the park. There's nothing going to stop Freedom Dad doing what he needs to do for Northern Ireland, or for even Ireland, for the island of Ireland, for the Great Britain and the island of Ireland. Every single Westerner, every single white person or Christian person, I don't care, because we're all sick of this, so we are. Oh, you're just thinking about the white. No, we're not just thinking about the white. It's yous are forgetting about the white. This is what's happening, you know what I mean? It isn't about skin colour. We know that. But this is what yous are driving people to do. This is what people are getting on the street. I'm not going to spend most of my time telling people, listen, you know, it's not about skin colour. I know they're all going on about brown. I know Alison Morris keeps saying brown. It's not about that. But if you keep going on about that, then people are going to start going on about white. Can you not see what you're doing? I'm out here trying to tidy up after you guys, use mainstream media, because a lot of people have woke up in the middle of this and they don't know what's going on. And all you're doing is jumping about calling everybody racist and fascist and far right. So when these people, hi buddy, how you doing? I know bad, no bad. So when these people are waking up in the middle of this and they're seeing all these headlines and everybody supports this kind of thing as far right racist and a fascist, they're going to believe it. In their heads they're going to go, I must be far right and racist because I don't want mass immigration. I must be far right and racist because I don't want any more children going through what's happened in England. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's where we're at. This is Northern Ireland. You know, and we're doing everything we can in our power to stop what's coming. But also the left are also doing everything in their power to stop me. You know what I mean? So it's down to us to be clever frauds, and be aware of what's coming. You know, they are going to use everything in their book. Anybody who has already worked for the police in Northern Ireland will be being used against the right wing politics. Please believe me. Anybody that's, you know, because we know we're infiltrated. We know every part of our society, every part of our organisations have all been infiltrated by MI5. We know that. You need to be dumb to think that you're a part of an organisation that isn't. You know, let's be honest, you know, well, of course it is. But this is what I'm trying to say. Right now in Northern Ireland, all our focus is in bringing us down. That means us, citizen journalists, Freedom Dad, Stephen Baker, you know, I've had a really long day. and anybody involved with the right. Lindsay. And Richard, of course, and and Vicky, and Ryan. You know what I mean? So it's like these are we are the targets. We are now the targets, and it is scary. It is a scary situation because we now have people who are working for the police on both sides of the community being told by their handlers to get what you can, do what you can to break up the movement of the right that's growing in Northern Ireland. And it isn't the movement of the far right. I'm not controlling the far right. I do not control the far right in Ireland. Ridiculous. But this is what the people are saying. I'm a citizen journalist who's bringing everything that's happening in Northern Ireland about the right to telly, to the world, to everybody that wants to listen. Anybody that's interested in Northern Ireland, you can watch my channel, do a bit of Step by Step, or MTEX, who's standing right next to me on YouTube. EMTEX, yes? MTEX Media. Now, the video I brought of Nolan today, I give him credit at the end of it, but you've got to go on his channel and give him a subscribe. He is up there with CJ, I promise you guys, and he's got nowhere near the back end of the following, and it's not right. When I see somebody that's doing so much work and putting so much effort in and going through so much in life, because we all go through stuff in life, and he's just like me, just like you, we're all dealing with personal stuff, right? And this is his way of dealing with it. This is like this is his output, this is his world. He does this. He's a photographer. If you need any photographs done of your kids' weddings, he's your man. But he's also a citizen journalist, and whether he's right or whether he's left or whatever, it doesn't make a difference. He's a citizen journalist. He does everything for her. And this is what's about. And everybody needs to have the head to swivel. Everybody needs to understand that this is real life. This is serious. This isn't a joke. I am in serious danger. He's in serious danger. Richard's in serious danger. Anybody involved with the right of politics is in serious danger right now. Okay? And I do worry, as you know. Of course I do. But all I want you to do is follow, subscribe, share, leave a comment, send some love, tell your friends, let your friends know about MTEX, Richard, Truth Podcast, CJ. This is how we work, you know what I mean? Get the word out. That's all you got to do. You don't have to give me money. You don't have to, it's free to subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button.
Say the
Show
channel
the
name
government
again.
who you're listening to. Show the government with your likes and your love and your shares and your views who's relevant in this country and who's irrelevant in this country. I'm feeling down. I'm outside the Marine Corps Hotel every Friday at 7 o'clock for the last 2.5 years. These guys have been doing it, not me. These guys have been doing it 2.5 years. One of the first hotels ever to be protested outside in the whole of Europe. We're on it right now, the Marine Corps Hotel in Bangor. I'm feeling down. God bless. Ooh. Thank you so much. Yes.